The pageant parade is pulling me away out into the dark streets where the shadows play. I can still see you moving through the chaos unimpaired. I am still caught up in the moment that we almost shared. But now I am carried by a swirling crowd like flotsam on the stream. The touch of your hand, it lingers on my skin like the sting from a honeybee. But the night has just begun. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Now that I've seen you once, I know I'll see you again. I'll see you again. Your eyes were like diamonds in the celestial crown, then sapphire in the afterglow of a starburst raining down. I saw you laughing in the carnival with all your friends. I know this kind of hunger is the kind that never ends. But now I am carried by the swirling crowd like flotsam on the stream. The touch of your hand, it lingers on my skin like the sting from a honeybee. But the night has just begun. This is what it's all for. And now that I've found you once, I know I'll find you once more. Yes, the night has just begun. The fuse lit by a spark. And now that I've found you in the afterglow, I know I can find you in the dark. Find you in the dark. So a few people have been asking if I could go into a bit more detail about the tuning I use on my guitar. It's the same tuning that I use on my electric guitar and my acoustic guitar. So what I thought I'd do is show you how to play a song from the new album Afterglow. It's a song called Beasting, and I think it's quite a good one to learn just because it's quite a regular repeating pattern. It's quite a satisfying kind of riff to play. And I wouldn't exactly say that it's easy, but it's maybe not a bad place to start if you haven't done a lot of finger picking. It's you know, it's quite challenging, but it's the kind of thing you can learn slowly and then just speed it up, and then it's just quite fun to play. So firstly, I'll just tell you a bit about the tuning that I use. It's a very unusual tuning. It's not a tuning, as far as I'm aware, that anybody else uses. It's essentially an open B flat tuning. But the weird thing about it is it doesn't work without a capo. So if you're a capo snob, this tuning is not for you. So we get a low B flat, and then with the capo on, you get a nice big B flat chord when the capo's on fret 6, and it's nice because you get actually a 3-octave range just with the open chord. whereas most tunings only have 2 octaves in the kind of, you know, the kind of root position. So that's great. So you get this really rich full sound, where you can play very high but still have a very low accompaniment going on. So to get that tuning, we start with a B flat. Actually, I'm going to go top to bottom to show you. It's probably easier. So the top string stays on an E. So the top string is the same as standard tuning, it's an E. The second string also stays the same, it's a B, same as standard tuning. So we go E, B. The G string, the third string, goes down a minor third to a E, to an E. So we get, and then the D string also goes down a minor third, that goes down to a B. So far we've got a pair of E's and a pair of B's. And then following on with that pattern, the A string goes down a fourth to an E. So that's a long drop, that, for the A string. So now we've got 3 E's and 2 B's. But just to make it awkward, the low string doesn't go to a B, it goes to a B flat. So if you were to play it without a capo, it would sound like this, which is not a good noise. But then, as I say, you can stick the capo on 6 and that gives you a nice big B flat chord. So that's kind of the home chord of the tuning. For this song, Bee Sting, though, I'm going to be playing it in G. Now, the problem is, because you've got this... Oh, sorry, what I haven't told you is that you half capo it. So the capo, don't know if you can see that, is only going over the top 5 strings, which leaves this low string open. So that's how you get this enormous 3-octave range in the home chord. Now the problem with that is if you want to play in different keys, you need a second capo. Otherwise you're going to start having to retune, and that changes all the shapes. So you can either go up. If you go up 2 frets, for example, that would give you a C, but you need to also put the capo on fret 2, so that you end up with a big C chord. That's a bit out of tune. You have to retune every time you change the capo. It's slightly annoying. You can keep going. You could just about get up to D if you wanted to. Probably you'd want to have a guitar with a cutaway if you were planning to play in D very much. As I say, it's, the tuning is a bit difficult when you're moving capos around. So that's going upwards from B flat. If you want to go down, it's a little bit different because you can't get that low octave below a B flat. So this song that we're going to do is going to be in G. So we're going to move the half capo down to fret 3. But we've still got this low B flat on the bottom, which we don't really want. So we're going to stick that up on fret 2. So the capos end up looking like this. And what that means is rather than having a low octave, you actually have a low subdominant root, a C in this case. It's not quite as big a range as in B flat, but you do end up with this very nice fat subdominant chord, chord 4, C chord. So that's the tuning that we've got here. So this is the sort of G configuration of the tuning. As I say, the root chord is just an open chord, so you have to strum it, miss out the low bottom string in this particular configuration, but still we've got this nice big G chord. And because it's an open tuning, that means you can kind of play around with the voicings of the tonic chords as much as you like. There's all sorts of different things you can do. For this particular song, I'm going to add a major 7th. And I'm going to be covering one of the D strings in this case. So what would be in standard tuning? Well, it's your 4th string. In standard tuning, it's your D string, and I'm covering that to get so that's on the 4th fret above the capo. So this is then the main chord of the song. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you the finger picking pattern. So this is a bit tricky, but once you've got it, it kind of works throughout the song. So. There's a bit of variation in it, but essentially the rhythmical pattern is always the same. So as with a lot of finger picking patterns, the thumb just goes on this kind of pedal thing. Yeah, so that just keeps going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to practice that a bit if you're not used to it. So here I'm going 1, 2. So on the second beat I'm doubling the thumb with the third finger, with the middle finger, or sometimes with the whatever you call that finger. So 1, 2, 3, and right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're putting a finger in between the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's the first pattern. Practice that for a bit. And the second half of it goes, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3. And then and 4 and. It's a bit tricky to explain. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and. Right, so we're always getting 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, which gives you this sort of one ba 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 sort of feel. So I sort of change strings around a little bit, but the fingers are always kind of doing the same kind of pattern. So you just need to practice that a bit, but once you've got that, it then works on the second chord of the riff as well, which is the 6th chord. The 6th chord in this tuning is looks a little bit like a D minor shape. In standard tuning, that would be your D minor shape. So if you just shift that up a fret and then move it right down to the bottom strings, that gives you your relative minor, or your chord 6, or your sub-median chord. It's kind of a power chord. If you just play the bottom 3 strings. Now for this song I'm actually going to add a 9th in. The open version has a 7th in it, but I'm going to add this 9th in. And that's actually the same note that is the suspended note in the first chord. So I'm basically swapping this finger here for the same note but different finger. Okay, so that's the basic riff, and you just need to keep playing that until you kind of get used to it. The pageant parade. Oh, there's a little passing dominant there, which is this shape here. So we've got the first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the 4th string on the 4th fret. So the pageant parade is pulling me away out into the dark streets where the shadows play. next chord is this chord, okay, which is chord 2, or the super tonic is its official name, which is quite a nice name. And in this capo position, it's an A chord, and it's just a bar, okay, it's a straight bar across the top 5 strings. Okay, and so all we do is I can still see you, excuse me, I can still see you moving through the chaos. Okay, so I'm just doing that pattern. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and, so the fingers are always on the and. I can still see you moving through the chaos unimpaired. This bit of it is the same chord as that 6th chord that we were looking at earlier, but instead of having the 9th on the 2nd string there, I'm swapping it down to the 4th string. And it's coming in and out, so you get this kind of pattern. Yeah, so this whole section is I can still see you moving through the chaos unimpaired, but I am still caught up in the moment that, so that we're just taking the bar chord up. Yeah, it's just a straight bar all the way up. Moment that we almost shared. Right, this is a funny chord here. Got two covered notes in it, so we've got open top 2 strings. 3rd string is the 3rd finger on the 6th fret above the capo, and then the 2nd finger tucks in behind it on the 5th fret of the 4th string. It's just quite a nice sort of yeah, quite a nice little suspended sound there. So I can still see you moving through the chaos unimpaired, but I am still caught up in the moment that we almost shared. But now I am carried by the swirling crowd. So this bit, so we've just got a little. So one of the nice things about this tuning is because you've got these octaves, you can play in octaves very easily. It gives you that kind of mandolin, kind of double 12-string guitar kind of sounds. So I'm just going. Now I am carried. Okay, here we get to the subdominant, which we've not used so far, and in this case it's a C chord. So we've got an open C on the bottom, then we've got 3rd finger 5th fret above the capo, and then we tuck the 4th finger behind it on the 4th string 5th fret, and then the 1st finger comes down on the 2nd fret above the capo. Yeah. So that's your other really important chord, subdominant. And this song actually doesn't really have a lot of dominance in it, but I'm just going to show you the dominant shape whilst we're here. Okay, so you're going to find this useful in other songs. And so here we're going to take the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret above the capo on the 3rd string, and then open string below that, and then we tuck the 2nd finger down on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then the 1st finger just quite neatly fits in here on the 1st fret above the capo. That gives you a nice strong dominant chord. We're actually going to have the top string is a suspended fourth there, so you might sometimes want to just cover that with your fourth finger as well. Again, that gives you dominant chord. Anyway, we're not really worrying about dominance for this song so much. There's that little passing dominant that we looked at, but anyway, there's the subdominant. So we've got chord shapes so far. We've got tonic, submediant or chord 6, subdominant or chord 4, dominant or chord 5, and then we've also got bar chords which give us the supertonic and the mediant and anything else you want. Where have we got to? Now I am carried by the swirling crowd. So again, we've got that little dominant chord there that we did use earlier. It's kind of first inversion dominant, third finger, fourth fret, fourth string, first finger, second fret, third string. Mostly just plucking those 3 strings there. So now I am carried by. Oh, I should say that that's a first inversion tonic there, so I'm just covering that that note there. Now I am carried by the swirling crowd like flotsam on the stream. So we kind of subdominant there, but a slightly different inversion. And then tonic, different inversion. And then a kind of suspended thing. Yeah. Yeah, so you can figure that out. And then there's this little suspended turnaround, which is quite nice. So it's just a first finger on the second fret of the second string. And then we go up to, this is another dominant inversion. So this whole middle section goes like this. Now I am carried by the swirling crowd like flotsam on the stream. The touch of your hand, it lingers on my skin like the sting from a honeybee. We're nearly there, then we just go down to that the relative minor submediant chord again. The night has just begun. This chord is another inversion of the dominant, so we've got first finger there, so don't play the top string, then we've got open, first finger, second fret, open, and then open actually, and then cover this one here with your fourth finger, which is 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, no 5, the fifth fret above the capo, which gives you this really quite nice first inversion dominant. And we're back to the tonic. Night has just begun. This is what it's all for. Okay, and the very last bit, we just a little run up, which is quite a useful thing. So we're going. It's a bit like Blackbird by Paul McCartney. This little bit. So, third finger, fourth fret, third string, everything else open. Then, first finger, second fret, fifth string, and fourth finger, fifth fret, third string. And then the third finger comes down over the fourth fret on the fifth string. And then we're back to the subdominant. So it's, now that I've seen you once, I know I'll see you once more. So now that I've seen, that's the subdominant chord. You, that's the tonic chord with the first inversion on the bottom. Once, okay, we're back to the submediant here, which is that chord we looked at earlier, but I'm just adding a third in here with the fourth finger. So that's fourth finger, fifth fret, third string. So yeah, and that's just another tonic with a third there. So that little turnaround again. See you once more. We're back to the beginning. Your eyes were like diamonds in the celestial crown, then sapphire in the afterglow, a starburst raining down. I saw you laughing in the carnival with all your friends. I know this kind of hunger is the kind that never ends. But now I am carried by the swirling crowd like flotsam on the stream. The touch of your hand, it lingers on my skin like the sting from a honeybee. But the night has just begun. This is what it's all for. Now that I've seen you once, I know I'll see you once more. Yes, the night has just begun. The fuse lit by a spark. Now that I found you in the afterglow, I know I can find you in the dark. Find you in the dark.